Did you
Yeah.
also notice I did see Josh in the chat, and did you see that comment he made about Proudfoot?
Man,
I just
fuck.
want to know why Blue Gumballs, like, mine goes straight to, like, butts.
Because he's a fucking troll.
He
That's,
said
he's
Chris
a
Proudfoot
troll.
looks like he's riding a bike with no seat.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Whose mind goes there?
But then
Just
talks
little
about
quick sidebar.
Then they go into this whole conversation about corn dogs and sharing bed, and it's
Sharing
like,
a hotel room.
He's a troll, right?
Yeah.
He's not here to talk about the. He wasn't in that moment, at least, not there to talk about the case. He was there to poke fun and make light of a situation, whatever.
And
Ladies and gentlemen, Lab After Dark is starting shortly. Lab After Dark is starting soon. Lab After Dark is starting soon.
Right.
Well, you opened that Pandora's door.
I was actually just sitting down to pee, but whatever, you know.
What's happening? Welcome to Lab After Dark.
Starts now.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome. Good to see you. Good to be here. Late night, early morning, Lab After Dark. Thank you for being here, and thank you for making Lab After Dark a part of your day. It's very kind, and I appreciate it. And I mean that since for some reason that came out sarcastic, and it just wasn't. I don't know. My tendency is sarcasm, and then sometimes it just it doesn't come out properly, and I try. Yes, please hit that like button, and let me. What do I think of all the haters? I love them. I think they're all great. Love every single one of them. It's great. Good stuff. Amy says, Josh, what do you think of all the haters? Hey, man, they're the best. Good people. Couldn't ask for better people. And, I don't have anything negative to say. I'm not a negative person like that. And so, just kidding. They suck. I don't know. I mean, what do you want me to say? It's just like part of life, I guess. I mean, it's no different than going to school with, shithead kids that you can't stand, but they're there and there's really nothing you can do about it. And you just deal with it. I mean, I don't care. I actually, though, I will tell you this, for some reason, and I don't know, maybe this is my mental illness or whatever, messed up thing in my head. I kind of enjoy them because they're, if they're talking about me, that's what they don't understand. I like that. I like when they talk about me. I've grown to love it. And the reason I say that is because most of the time, they show their own ignorance by playing my stuff. And then I typically get a bump in views and subs and things like that. And so I actually kind of appreciate them. And it's fantastic sometimes. It's just, you got to embrace it. You got to embrace the hate. And you got to know that you can't, one of the craziest things that I find on the internet is, or especially on YouTube, is the fact that people sit there and analyze other people's chats. That I find psychotic. But it's funny because you would never catch me just like going, man, did you see what this person wrote in this chat and this person wrote in this? I mean, I'd rather read a regular book or something. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of really good literature out there. Most of them probably can't read. None of them are creative. They, they accuse you of the things that they do. Like one of my favorites is I've been accused of plagiarism. First of all, these people don't know what plagiarism is. And second of all, they can't spell it. And that's a fact. If you can't spell the word, you probably shouldn't use it. But we get a lot of that. We get a whole bunch of that. Yeah, so if you can't spell it, you shouldn't say it. But they do. They do. They keep it up. Plagiarism. Like we're at university or something, or like a Buster Murdoch or whatever. You get accused of plagiarism by people that have absolutely zero creativity in their brains. None. Zero. All of it. They're just dumb as a box of rocks. And it's fun for me because it really like, I wouldn't even say that it used to bother me. I guess I just didn't know how to, like, people. I come from the Xbox Live era, and then I've been podcasting probably twice as long as any of these people. I would say at least twice as long. Like, I started back in the Adam Carolla days. I started back in the Tom Green and days. I mean, I've been podcasting for a long time. Like, this isn't new. And I've had on air, off air arguments. However, sometimes, and I say this respectfully, but there are boundaries. For me, there are, at least. One thing that I have ran into with some of these people is like there are no boundaries with them. They will say whatever, whenever, which means to me that they've already lost. It's kind of like the Hitler argument. Like, if you bring up Hitler in an argument, like, you lose, right? So when you start calling people chomos and pedos and creeps and, you know, all that kind of stuff, you lose, because it's a stupid argument. It doesn't make any. I mean, it's just not a logical comeback. Instead of, you know, I don't know. I mean, having an actual insult or an actual relevant thing to say, like, let me if you heard a little bit, I'll play this for you. This was sent to me this morning, bright and early. You wake up and this is dropped into your inbox. It's great. It's fantastic. It's good. I love waking up to this stuff. And you're just like, oh man, I hope today's going to be a beautiful day. And then it's all rainy and shit. And then you get this. You just get like these wonderful.
Did you also notice? I did see Josh in the chat, and did you see that comment he made about Proudfoot?
Uh-uh.
Man,
I just want to know why blue gumballs, like, mine goes straight to like butts.
This is the Queen of Cooterville, by the way, of 50-something-year-old grandmother who refers to her subs as cooters, which is a slang term for a vagina.
He's a fucking troll.
He said,
And then a bridge troll calling me a troll is fantastic.
He's
Chris
a
Proudfoot
troll.
looks like he's riding a
He's a troll. He's a troll. Let's head on down to the washing well and throw pennies in there.
with no seat.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Whose mind goes there?
But then
Just
talks
little
about-
quick sidebar.
Then they go into this whole conversation about corn dogs and sharing bed, and it's like,
Sharing
Yeah,
a
it's called humor. Look it up, dumbass.
hotel room.
he's a troll, right?
Yeah.
He's not here to talk about the. He wasn't in that moment, at least, not there to talk about the case. He was there to poke fun and make light of a situation, whatever.
Yeah, I was there to poke fun of you psychopaths that sit there and just listen and read the chat, who can barely read as it is.
And
Well,
a sexual
And
innuendo.
he brought Dr.
And then I don't know who that is. The sexual innuendo. This lady's the Queen of Cooterville, folks.
Gary with him.
It's like that's the go-to every time. Creep, weirdo. He gives me the creeps. Predator. I give Predator the creeps.
Last night, right? From last night, right? He brought Dr.
And I'm glad that I do, because those are the kind of people I want to creep out.
Gary with him last night.
Poke fun and make light of a situation.
Shut
whatever.
up.
And a
Cletus.
sexual
And
innuendo.
he brought Dr. Gary with him last night, right? Did you notice that? Okay, so
Yep.
funny story. Dr. Gary was coming in my lives in the beginning of this case.
Yeah.
And Dr. Gary,
First and
I emailed-
foremost, I don't know where Dr. Gary was. I saw him there. It wasn't intentional. I didn't say, "Hey, let's go on over here." That's not what happened. And second of all, I don't care that he'd ever gone. I'm sure he watched your show and was like, "Holy shit, this sucks."
because I wanted him to come on my channel and talk. Or no, it was Idaho. Sorry. It was during Idaho. Well, there was a longtime listener of mine that disagreed with Dr. Gary in the comment section of my video. And in email, he's like, I'll come on your show, but you have to like block that person and anyone that doesn't agree with me. And I'm like,
Oh,
no,
bullshit.
sorry, I can't do that. Like,
Why?
these people have watched me for years.
Why can't they? Why couldn't? Well, first of all, I don't even think that's true. But second of all, who cares? And third of all, is it because they give you money? Is that why? Idiot.
It was like, I'm not going to block them from their opinion. So he wouldn't come on my show. So I thought,
I mean, I'm guessing he didn't come on the show because it sucks, but that's just my opinion. But I haven't even talked to him about it because I don't care.
funny that Brittany, is trying to get at me. So is that Josh's little revenge, like getting Dr. Gary on her show? Did you hear all that?
Revenge? Nobody's thinking about you. Nobody's looking for you. Revenge. Yeah, that was my ultimate revenge. Hey, Dr. Gary, come on over to Brittany's chat with me and go in there and let's make Jay mad. Right.
Oh, he's like, I'd love to come on your show. And it's like, come on.
Yeah, probably because he thinks she's nice and you're not.
And Dr. Gary, if you watch any of her shows, she's snoozy poon 90% of the time.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, nobody wanted to entertain that conversation. Nobody cared. And, who cares? Who cares what she says? Nobody's looking to get back at you. I don't think about you. You're not somebody that's on my radar. I could care less. Do whatever you do. Do what it is you do. I really don't care. Sinner, I'll be over here mesmerized by Pandora's door. Well, I'll tell you this right now. Once you open Pandora's door, it's hard to shut.
Well, you opened that Pandora's door.
I mean, it's a big ass double wide door too. You know what I'm saying? It's like this big. And to be honest with you, I don't have any ill will towards these people. I swear to God, to me, it's all like, for them, it's probably really, really serious. And I think they probably get really, really mad about stuff. But I really don't. I don't get that mad about it. It doesn't bother me. Maybe it should, but there are much more serious things in life than getting criticized by Jay is for Justice or Cluminati or Cletus or Crabtree or who the frig ever else. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's really strange to me, But Sinner, thank you. I appreciate that very much. It's very kind of you. Why does my monitor keep doing? What the hell is this? Dude, Pandora's door is massive. Hold on. This is pissing me off like a mother. Like a stupid. Yeah, when Don said a bad word about Chris, I got so angry. I get more angry about people talking about other people than I do them talking about me. And because I don't get angry about it. Angry? It's to get angry about. It's the internet. It's like, it's just not serious. The things that are serious on here, to me, are the actual cases, and those are to be talked about with respect. At least from my end, the people themselves that cover cases or content vulture is what happens a lot. That I don't care about so much. It's not something I think about, on a daily basis. And I just don't look, my life, first of all, my life doesn't revolve around the internet, but it has some to some degree, maybe a little bit, but not to the point of where I would get fuming mad and anything like that. And I just like to, I like to mess with people. Like I went into her chat the other day and told her that I was going to sue her and strike her. I would have a better, I would win more money suing a trash can. I'm not going to, why would I even sue her? I wouldn't. I have struck her before. I didn't want, she wasn't doing anything to me but I'm not, I just thought it was funny because I could see I could hear a visceral reaction, I could see it was like, what? You're so thin-skinned? What? You're that thin-skinned? Yeah, I mean, if you call me a chomo, I'm probably going to respond. Which, I mean, it's because that's wild. That's crazy. But that is the argument of an unintelligent person. You must understand that, folks. When people go that way, it is nothing more than an unintelligent arguer that has already lost. If somebody's that sloppy and if somebody's that gross about it, then fine. Let it happen. Dr. Gary is an established author, professional forensic psychologist, highly renowned member of the Cold Case Foundation. He's not here on YouTube to play. And I agree with you. Absolutely. And he absolutely is. And he is a professional in every sense of the word. Matter of fact, tomorrow, let me show you this really quick. And I hope that you guys are there. Please show up because these are I'm sure we'll probably do some call-ins as well. But these are some of my favorite shows we're doing, and we're going to do one tomorrow on Bundy, the campus killer, with Dr. Gary Bricado, which is going to be a blast. Well, I mean, I don't know if it'll be a blast, but it'll be good. I can tell you that. I mean, he knows so much. He knows so much about Bundy, and I don't know that much about him. I mean, I know some, but to be able to listen to Dr. Gary talk about it is going to be a treat, folks. And I'm telling you, it's going to be an absolute treat. If you actually do like true crime, and we're not talking about kids, we're talking about an old case that's settled, that Bundy is dead and gone and has been studied. And, there's tons of literature and articles out there about him. And Dr. Gary knows this guy inside and out. And I'm sure we're going to learn stuff that we didn't know about. So, I'm sorry that he got brought into any of that. And it's tomorrow, 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. And like I said, it's going to be a treat. You guys I think you'll enjoy it. At least I know that I will. I always learn something, and it's very fascinating stuff. And I'm going to tell you that there's going to probably be people in the chat that may or may not have had run-ins with him. I mean, it's not that long ago, And there's a lot of people that have had to deal with either family members that were affected by Bundy, or the guy hunted. I had a girl working for me 7 years ago, and she was from Seattle, and she had brought up one time that her mother, when they were out on a boat, that they recognized Bundy on the news because he was walking around on crutches one day asking if people would help him push his boat off into the lake or whatever it was. and was offering them a ride too. And I was like, wow, that's wild. I mean, it is wild. It's absolutely crazy stuff. But yeah, man, I'm telling Sinner, thank you, man. That's appreciate you. And I like Sinner a lot. I listen to his shows a lot because he's got a mission, and he sees it right. He sees it right. I know he does. He hunted like a coyote. He's a nasty dude. And I know a lot of you people, that listen to this show and have channels, and look, I get it. There's some people that show up here and they go, look, I don't like that. I don't like when you talk about other people, or you, whatever. I don't know what it is that people don't like, or me maybe defending myself, or saying that I'm giving people free advertisement, or whatever it is. I don't know what to tell you. It's just part of how it is. And I am not above it. I'm not below it. And I don't mind it, I'd certainly never want a problem. But when somebody wants a problem, I say no problem. It's not a problem. But I'm certainly not going, hey, come over here and we're going to make this person mad or that person mad. Nobody's thinking about that. I honestly swear, just such a ridiculous way to be. Oh man, I'm really excited about this. Is one that I'm really excited about. Spring is around the corner. The days will get longer. Baseball's back. That's the kind of stuff I care about. Baseball's back, folks. And it is incredibly difficult. If you start going down those roads constantly, if it's an everyday occurrence, and it's not for me, trust me. I mean, look, if it didn't get sent to me, I don't look for stuff. It's not something I'm sitting there searching it out. I would never do that. I would much rather play lawn darts blindfolded. No question about it. If there was an option, be like, hey, do you want to sit and read this person's chat, or possibly wrestle a lion? I might go with the lion. I might wrestle a lion. Now, you might think that's crazy, but I certainly don't. I actually think that it's something, because I think that I think I would learn something. Even if I died, I would learn something in the moment. I would go, wow, this was a stupid idea, but not as stupid as sitting and reading somebody else's chat, putting it on a spreadsheet. I saw somebody put it on a spreadsheet. I saw somebody take somebody's chat and put it on a spreadsheet, and I went, holy sheesh. Imagine that. Imagine it. I can't. I mean, honestly, look, I hope that this meteor doesn't hit Earth, but, I couldn't blame God. Look, he flooded the world once because there was a bunch of shitty people in it. And, I don't know. Maybe it's just like a little purge, maybe. I don't know. Maybe a purge, maybe. Just, a little warning shot, here you go. Pew, 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 pew. Everybody calm down, be nice. Pew, 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 pew. Pew. Sodom and Gomorrah. I mean, there's a reason. There's a reason that God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Cat sees you gifted 5 Lab After Dark memberships. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. There's a lot of hate in the world, and I'm telling you, with all my heart and soul, I promise you, when I get into spats with these people, it is not out of hatred. It is out of entertainment to me. I don't care about that. But I don't have any ill will. I don't wish bad upon these people. That's not my job. No, I don't. I would rather talk about the meteor than the rapture. You kind of bore. Yeah, I mean, it's just I find it funny. I think it's funny that people would give one shit about what I say about them or anything at all. I'm lagging here, folks. What is going on? We're back. Are we back? Are we back? We got some bad weather again. Well, I'm certainly not bored, but that's kind of what B. Frank says. I don't have time to bully. I don't have time to bully, but some of these adults are worse than kids. Well, I mean, I don't think that I could disagree with you whatsoever. It's like the little bully kids. Hold on a second. Let me shut something down. See if I don't know what the hell that is. Like today, I had to go help my aunt. And I've told you about my aunt and my uncle, my bald-headed uncle, because their computer wasn't working. And I was like, I really should let that bald-headed uncle of mine take some of his medicine. That's what I was thinking. And I go, but he is my uncle and I do love him. I do absolutely love him. So, of course, what am I going to do? I go and I help him because that's the right thing to do. All right. That's the right thing to do. My bald-headed uncle needed my help, so I helped him. I mean, that's the right thing to do, is it not? Of course it is. I'm not here to just... But that doesn't stop me from thinking somebody's an idiot or expressing it loudly. Or that doesn't mean that... that doesn't mean that, I think that somebody has a low IQ and then I can express it. That doesn't mean that I hate them. That doesn't mean that I have anything against them. It just means that I'm merely observing. And if you're anything, you can tell when somebody's smart, right? You can tell when somebody has a grasp of the English language, even when it is their first and only language. Quien es tu papi, but they don't know how to say anything else. And it's kind of weird, but you can tell when somebody's not really intelligent. I absolutely would. I will not be bald one day. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'll be 40 this year. Look at that. Not even a bit of receding. Not even a little. Come on. Are you kidding me? I'm not even. What is this? Look at that. Come on now. Don't play with me. What are you talking about? I'm going to rock it out. Just for you. I'm going to let it happen. Come on now. I think we crashed and we're back. It's been happening lately. It is. It's thick, man. It's thick hair, and it's you know, it ain't go. I don't think it's going anywhere. I mean, but like I said, my uncle's bald. Tony Mathis is bald, and that's all right. It's no hate. I'm just pointing out that they're you know, follically challenged. That's not a big deal to say, is it? Nah, it just crashed on my end. Oh, I could easily grow a mullet. I've thought about it before, but no, look at it. It's like dancing on top of my head. I know, and the shitty part is that they're too big now to stuff into a locker. That's what I'm saying. Like bullies in school, for some reason, bullies in school, you know, would like when they would pick on people, and then like they found a nerd that did karate. That was always my favorite. I don't know, 100. I have no idea. Probably. I mean, maybe like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to go bald. It's like, I'm going to put my beanie back on because now my ears are cold. Whoa. Let's see. What's your sign, Josh? Sign like astrology? Scorpio. Right. Scorpio. Yeah, I might grow a mullet. I don't know. Who knows? It does. It grows fast. It's like the fastest growing hair of all time, I think. Do you have the time? I've heard that. Well, for some reason, people say like, if you're a Scorpio, like you're a psycho. I don't know. Is that true? I want to put my hat back on because now my forehead's getting cold. It's not that warm outside. I don't know. I did play baseball for a really long time. I think the last baseball game I ever played, I was 20, 21. I played on a collegiate baseball team in college. And but I didn't wear hats all the time. Scorpios are lovers. Really? I didn't know that. I don't know. Anytime anybody ever asks me my sign, I say I'm a Scorpio. They go, well, that makes sense. But I'm not into astrology or fortune cookies. But I'm more into astrology than I am fortune cookies. I like fortune cookies. They taste good. But I remember when the fortunes were very specific back in the day, and now they're like, you might have a good day in the next 100 years. And you're like, I heard that too, actually. That's true. I hate hats. What about beanies? Does that count? Sinners. See, look, if I was to have to guess what Sinner was, I would say, well, Sinner is a Scorpio. That makes sense. I mean, I can see that from a mile away. If I was into astrology, which I'm not, but I know that people are. And I remember when do you remember, this is how, see, I'm old. You would read the astrology section in the paper. You'd get the paper and, you know, you'd read the astrology. I would never do it, though. I was more into the crossword puzzles. Loved a good crossword puzzle. Just, I was down with it. I'm old enough. Let's put it that way. My uncle's 71 and he still plays on a softball team. That's fire. Love it. Yeah. Well, look, age is relative. I'm just telling you that, like, I feel like my kids are grown. Okay. I feel like I've been through a lot more than a normal 39-year-old has been through. And so that's how I say I'm old. I feel like I have a ton of life experience, unfortunately, that I wish that I hadn't had. And so that's kind of what I base it on. You know, I had kids really young and I learned a lot of life lessons super young. And I mean, I don't know. I just, you don't, it's not necessarily an age thing. I would think so. I mean, I know that, I think that is a compliment. I appreciate that, but I don't know. I also feel I feel like I was born in like at the wrong time in the scheme of life. I mean, like I watched the Waltons and I wish that I was born then for some reason. I don't know. I think that, you know, I just think that I would flourish for some reason. I don't know why. Like I would have liked to have been raised on a mountain or something. I don't know. I was born at sea level. The frig is that? How can anybody flourish at sea level? I don't get it. There's no flourishing at sea level. Yeah, you feel that way too? I'm going to put my hat back on. Give me a second. Remember, we're on Union time. Yeah, no basements. How do you do that? That would be kind of cool to do. Becoming a grandmother for the first time, identical twins. I finally feel older. And that's super cool. I don't know, man. When I have grandkids, I'll be very, very excited and I look forward to it immensely. And, yeah, it'll be great. I think, I don't know. I know that you can send grandkids home, which is nice. But like I said, all my buddies now, they're just having kids. Like I was talking to my friend today, and he's telling me that, he's like, they have a newborn baby. He's sick. His wife's sick. Both kids are sick. And I said, dude, what do you expect? This is going to go on for like the next 10 years. I warned you. I warned him about it. And I was like, have you been exercising? He's like, no. It's like, how come? Well, we're really busy with the kids. And I go, well, I told you. Yeah, I have 2 dogs that are basically like children. And then, well, that feels like a whole nother. That feels like a whole nother situation, dude. I'm telling you. I think they truly do think that they're my children. I think that. I mean, that's the vibe. Like they don't talk, so I don't know. But that's what I think. I feel like they look at me like their dad, But maybe I'm off on that. I don't know. Hello. How are you? Zoe says, Josh, no electricity ever again, living anywhere on the globe. How long do you make it in your own estimation? With no electricity? Pff, shit. Easy. 102 years. No question. That's an easy one. At least 100. No electricity, then I don't have anything frying my brain or anything. So probably a really, really long time, man. Like what do I have to hunt for food? Because I'd probably be a vegetarian. I think that's the one thing that stops me from becoming a. The only thing that is that I can go to the store and buy meat. If that wasn't the case, like if I couldn't go to the store and buy meat, and I had to go kill an animal, I don't think I would. I think I'd probably just eat like eggs and stuff. Maybe fish. I mean, I don't really like fish, but like I would do it if I had to. But I think that I mean, you give me like a little, like one of those flint starters, like the little and a pocket knife. I could probably do some damage. I have 13 grands counting my step ones. I count them all. Yeah, I could, dude. It's like, I mean, I could snatch a salmon going upstream if I had to. I tell you that right now. I look like I'm a city boy at heart, but I mean, if it came down to it, you know, I could get with it. Trust me. I know how to shoot a gun. I know how to fish. Yes, I was in the Boy Scouts. I cheated on the boxcar derby. I put weights in the front. Got kicked out. Imagine being branded a 7-year-old box cart derby cheater. Now, I thought it was, you know, nobody told me that you couldn't do that. It's just like, dude, well, obviously, the heavier the car, the faster it's going to go down the hill. So, you know, I just put a bunch of pennies, like glued a bunch of pennies to the front. I'm going to win. Like, why is this box car going so fast? Because it has a bunch of pennies in it. You're not supposed to do that. Why? It's cheating. Nobody told me. Give me my car back. I was the orneriest ever. Once I hit my stride, I was pretty ornery, I guess you could say. I mean, it took me a while. Like I said, it took me a while to come out of my shell, and when I did, it was, you know, Pandora doesn't go back in the box.
Well, you opened that Pandora's door.
You know how that goes. I mean, it just doesn't. It just you think it does, but it doesn't. It was an absolutely clever idea, but it was against the rules. Of course, I didn't read the rule book because I was 7 and I didn't know how to read. Oh my goodness, this is a good question. How did I find baseball? Well, I grew up my grandfather was a baseball fan, and a NASCAR fan. And we used to listen to the Giants and A's on the radio every single day that they were on. We did it constantly. It was just, and then, you know, then the TV contract started. So we started watching that. And I found an old oak piece of wood. It was like a circular piece of wood. And I wanted to be a pitcher. So I put it up against our hedge. Like I leaned it against like a really strong part of our hedge. And I took this baseball and I would try and hit the center of that piece of oak or whatever. And I got pretty accurate with it. And then I figured out if I could throw it hard enough that it would bounce back to me in the air and I wouldn't have to go pick it up. So I started throwing it harder and harder. And I think the fastest pitch that I ever threw was probably around 91 miles an hour. My arm got really, really strong. And I sat at around 88, 89 in high school. And I loved baseball. Fell in love with it. And that's how I wouldn't say that's how I found it, but that's how I kind of got good at it, which was fun, you know. And you know, I wasn't good enough to go pro or anything like that. I thought I would, but I did. I was a homemade pitchback, and it was funny too, because after that, that's when my grandpa bought me a pitchback, and then I wore that out, like the net. I wore the net out really fast. Eric says, "Thank you, Josh, for being you. All race car drivers try and cheat. I still want to win the Pine Word Derby." Well, Major League Baseball players throw in the mid to upper 90s. And I was never going to be a major, but I could hit and I could field and I get caught. I did everything. And I didn't kill my arm, which was surprising, but I could play every position. There was this thing, it was called a Babe Ruth League, and there was this like Hall of Fame book that they had for I think it was the Western region was like, I don't know, 16 states. And there's a book in Cooperstown in the Hall of Fame with like the best Babe Ruth baseball players. And I made that, which was really cool. I have the book somewhere. I'd have to find it, but yeah, young Josh is in there. I was pretty good. I was pretty good. I mean, especially as a kid, I was a lot better. But it's kind of one of those things where when you pour yourself into, and I was all city, baseball player. And softball's gotten crazy too. Softball is a sport that has blown up. It's amazing to me that softball has blown up that way. So, yeah, I could throw. It was funny too because I could throw right-handed and left-handed, and when I would field ground balls at third base, sometimes I would do it. I would field some right, and then I'd field some left. And I could even pitch left. I never did like in a game or anything, but I could switch hit. And I did that all the time. I hit left-handed, right-handed. So I loved playing baseball. It was just, I just love everything about baseball. I like football too, and I played a little bit of football, but I sucked. Oh my God, did I suck. They thought because I had a good arm that I could play quarterback, and there's so much more to it than I was so bad. I could throw the ball really far, but it usually ended up in the wrong hands for some reason. I tried. And football just sucked, like packing gear. I hated packing gear. It was the worst. Yeah, I mean, I can use my right and left. I mean, I can write left-handed. It's not like kind of like the Zodiac, but not that great. You know what I mean? I was good enough at it. It just never enough. But and I'm left-footed too. I have no idea. I have so many issues with that. Like I'm ass backwards. I'll tell you that right now. I had a really good arm in school. My son threw his arm. Oh, yeah. I've seen that happen. It's the worst. Yeah, we used to play on like all-star teams and travel baseball, summer league. I'll have to get, one of Peyton's favorite, because our summer league was legitimately like Major League, like the movie. there were kids smoking cigarettes in the outfield and, rolling dice behind it was the worst. It was like the worst, but best summer league of all time. Our center fielder was smoking cigarettes. Like, that's a fact. You could see it. You could see him smoking in the outfield. And for some reason, he said he was 17, but he had to be 25 from there was another kid too that was homeless. Well, he had been kicked out of his house for God knows whatever reason. And every base that he would go to, he would ask the person on the other team if he could stay at their house. Swear to God. I don't know if that ever worked out for him, but he's like, hey, like, you got a place I could. I don't know whatever happened to him. I never saw him after the season. I think he must have found a place to sleep. I'm telling you, he'd get on first base. Like, you could hear him. He'd be like, hey, do you got a place that I could sleep? And he'd be like, no. Then he'd go to second. Like, you got a place I could sleep? I don't know if anybody I told him no, absolutely not. Under no circumstances. Trust me. I didn't want him sleeping in my house. I don't know if he got kicked out or if he was just kind of one of those, like, yeah, it was sad, but not really. Like, you would have to have known the guy. He was homeless on purpose. He was only like 40% homeless, And I think that he just didn't want to follow his parents' rules. So it wasn't like, he was like this poor kid. It was more so, but he wasn't, he was only partly homeless, if that makes any sense. I don't know. Does that make any sense? My niece and nephew are twins. They both play softball. Yeah, he did. He absolutely couch surfed. Yeah. He was great. He was a good baseball player too. I played baseball with a lot of kids that went to the majors too. I think I've told this story before. This you'll love this story if you haven't heard it. I haven't told this story in years, but it was senior year, and there was it was a big tournament. It was like the Lager Classic or something. We were playing like a team from Feather River, and they had this kid on the team. He ended up getting drafted by the Astros. He was such a good baseball player, and I was pitching that game. So the first time he comes up, and I remember my coach saying, "Look, be careful with him. He's a really good hitter." And I took offense, and I was like, "I'm a really good pitcher," because I was. So the first pitch that I threw him, he probably hit it, I'd say somewhere in the area of 440 feet to dead center. It was a home run. So I was like, damn, he's probably better. So I'm going to have to pitch him a little better. So he comes up the second time, and the coach comes out for a mound visit. And he says, "Remember what happened last time?" I said, "Of course I remember what happened last time. How can I not remember what happened last time? The ball hasn't even landed. It's still going." I mean, it was an absolute piss rocket. I mean, that was one of the farthest balls I've ever seen hit in my life. Then I'm like, all right, I'm going to pitch him outside. So the first ball I throw is outside. It's a ball. So I got to move in a little closer. Second pitch I throw in, another ball. It's like, shit, I got to move in a little more. Well, then I completely miss my spot, and I throw it right down the middle, and he hits another home run. 2 in a row. He's up, second at bat, second home run. So here he comes again for the third time. He comes up for the third time, and here comes the coach. And he's walking out, and I know what he's thinking. He's going to take me out of the game. I just know he's going to take me out of the game. I just knew it. I knew that he was going to do it. And he says, you got two choices here. He goes, I can take you out of the game, or exactly, Eric, or you can walk him. And I said, come on, coach. Like, I know what I did wrong last time. I know what I did wrong. Come on. And he goes, Josh, he's taken you deep twice. Like, two of the farthest balls I've ever seen hit. He's like, he does this all the time. Like, he was leading the league in home runs, RBIs, all this stuff. Like I said, he got drafted by the freaking Astros or whatever a couple years later. I said, Coach, I got this. I got it. And he goes, walk him. And I go, I'm going to strike him out. And he goes, walk him. I said, I'm going to strike him out. He says, walk him. I said, I'm going to strike him out. And he says, walk him. So he walks back to it. So the catcher calls for the intentional walk, and I shake him off. And I can hear my coach, because he couldn't stop us again. Because he had already came out too many times. There was nobody warmed up, right? So I'm like, dude, come on, get down in the crouch. Come on, let's go. I got to pitch to him. I'm gonna, first pitch I throw, he hits another home run, and then I got benched after that. So that was rough. That was a learning experience. And the third home run he hit was probably further than the other two. And my coach was pissed. Absolutely pissed. I went rogue. It's not the only time. I had a buddy one time. One of my buddies. He You've probably, well, if you've ever watched any of the Lab After Dark podcasts that we did, he was a really good pitcher too, but we were playing against this really good team, and I remember he walked the bases loaded on 12 straight pitches. So he didn't throw a strike to one person, loaded the bases up. Okay. Then the next batter hits a grand slam. The coach comes and takes him out of the game. He walks over to the dugout, and he sits down, and he looks at me and goes, "What's up?" That was it. I was just like, "What's going on, buddy?" Yeah, that's kind of how we dealt with that. I disobeyed the coach. It was not right. I was a phenom. So what's up? I love that. My son wrestled out of school leagues. I wrestled in high school too. And Missouri, when girls started wrestling, he forfeited. Yeah, makes sense. Bless Nana, thank you for being here. Sleep well. Josh, you seem like you always want to be the one doing your own thing. I don't know. I think maybe it's just because I'm stubborn. Probably. Mostly stubborn, I would say. But that's just, I don't know. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Hold on. Is it a good thing? I tried. I always did try, but no, absolutely not. I don't play any baseball, or I coached my kids, and in basketball and baseball. That was fun. I enjoyed that more than playing myself, even though my kids absolutely sucked at baseball and they were so bad. Sometimes they were really good, but sometimes they were so bad because they didn't really like it the way that I did. They liked basketball and they were really, really like fantastic basketball players, and they were ass at baseball. Probably because of me. I was a terrible coach. Peyton would just be like, yeah, he traumatized us during baseball, but I don't think that that's true. I think they just use that as an excuse. But they were really, really good at basketball. Yeah, they can be. I mean, is there something to this astrology thing? Is Sinner still here? What do you think, Sinner? Is there something to this astrology thing? I don't know if there is or not. I'm starting to believe it. Crashed and crashed again. Let's see here. Enjoy your night. Good. I played softball growing up. We were a traveling team, but it was before fast pitch, which is amazing, but I miss it. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I played so much. I don't know if I guess I do miss it. I love, but like I said, I just love watching baseball, and no, it's the studio back here that keeps crashing, but I'm glad that it's hanging in there. Give me a second here. I did cheerleading in Powder Puff. Do they do Powder Puff anymore, or has that been just exiled? I remember doing that. That was fun. Dressing up like a girl. That's honestly, that's what we did. Do they still do Powder Puff? We learned how to do the pyramid and everything. I was on the bottom. I was the chubby one. There'd never been a more sturdier pyramid since the one in Giza, really. Yeah, Powder Puff size 8, yeah. I'm telling you, I was the base. I kept that. I was rock solid down there. There was nobody was going to fall on my watch. No, I'm only 6'2". My son is, though. He's like 8. I'm not that tall. But I was, I loved playing third base. That was fun too. Do they still do it? That's good. I thought it was just exiled. I didn't think that people were allowed to do that anymore. Yeah. Wow, you're way up in the Northwest. Pacific Northwest, yeah. I was an ugly girl. I'll tell you that. Horrendous. I made a horrendous looking girl. Like, I couldn't even get my dog Smudge he was like, he wouldn't even come near me. He growled at me and like licked his paws and then went in the other room. And I was like, "It's me, dummy." And he's like, "Yeah, right." But I was horrendous. I don't know. Probably sleeping. Well, don't forget that we have a show tomorrow, so make sure to check that out. That'll be good. You guys will enjoy that, maybe. I don't know if you will or not. I'm telling you, I was horrendous. I looked like I kind of looked like China. Remember the wrestler China? I just wasn't as buff. But that's kind of what I looked like. I'm telling you, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's just, I don't know. The only sport I did was run track. Yeah, I wasn't fast. I was not fast at all. I wanted to be. I wasn't. And anyway, but make sure to set your reminders for tomorrow and show up, because Dr. Gary is going to teach us all about Ted Bundy. I know I was horrendous. It was horrendous. I was scared myself. No, I don't think so. I've never really thought, I don't think chess is a sport. I think it's a game. I don't think so. Chess? Sport? Yeah, olive oil. I don't know. I was just a horrendous girl. I mean, it was enough to make me consider terrible. Bowling is not a sport. And people man, I'm telling you, people get so mad at me. You should see, I get slammed, absolutely roasted. You couldn't bowl. You whatever, fat boy. Bowling is a sport. And I was like, whatever. Dude, just because I say it's a sport doesn't mean it's not a sport. It's not a sport in my world. That's all I care about. I'm only concerned about what I'm doing. You get it? That's that's it. Well, right. Well, I don't think it is, but I don't know. I don't think it is. There's a lot of people that do, I guess. But my whole thing is, and it's the same with pool, and I enjoy both. I love watching bowling. I've watched bowling on TV before. It's very impressive what people can do. But just because you're in a bowling league doesn't make it a sport, because I'm telling you, people drink beer. If you drink beer and play and you can bowl and drink beer at the same time, it's not a sport. Just like there's a beer league. Now that is impressive. I used to be able to stand on my head for ages, sport or not. What do you think? You really want me to answer that? Because I will. I don't want to, but I'll do it. I'll answer your question. Nah, bowling's fun to watch. But I don't know. Look. It takes a special skill. Like I said, I like bowling. I like watching bowling, and we used to bowl all the time. I just don't think it's a sport. I don't think it's dancing's a competition. Like dancing, I don't know. Darts are fun. You were proud. It's not a sport. I'm sorry, Gutter Snipe. I don't know what to tell you. My grandparents met in a bowling league. It's a terrible, terrible meat story. I was like, you guys were drinking, weren't you? And like, Josh Daniel. My grandma would get so mad at me. Josh Daniel. But my grandpa and my grandma were both really good. My grandma was a pool shark, I heard. Shh, don't tell anybody. I like bowling too. That's true. Okay, well, maybe you've changed my mind. I don't know, man. Anybody that can bowl 300 has my respect. I'll just tell you that right now. Let's just put that on the table. Bowling alleys have the best French fries. I've noticed that. We used to have this thing called Rock and Bowl where it would start at like 10 and end at 1, and it would be like strobe lights and like they'd play Kenny Chesney really loud, and then maybe some Garth Brooks. I've got friends in low places where the whiskey and the beer chases my. And there's like a bunch of 13-year-old kids singing the song. Everybody in the club getting tipsy, or I don't know, stuff like that. Darts are great. Not a sport, I don't think. Yeah, Rock and Bowl was legit. Did you like Rock? I loved Rock and Bowl. It was cool. You go down there and like hang out with the girls. That's all we ever went for when we were teenagers. Like, let's go hang out with the girls. And then they'd be like, you suck at bowling. And I'd be like, whatever, bowling's not a sport. Leave me alone.
Lab After Dark
Ends. Not right now. Thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate it. I'll see y'all soon. See you tomorrow. Appreciate you guys. Thunder Alley. I love that. Appreciate everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Where the whiskey drowns and the beer chases my blues away.
Lab After Dark.
And I'll be okay. Well, I'm not big on social grace. That song's the shits.
After Dark is starting soon.
Right.
Well, you opened that Pandora's door.
was actually just sitting down to pee, but whatever, you know.
What's the point in causing big ruckus?
Lab After Dark starts now.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
Welcome to the No Big Deal podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Diaz, and joining me on the other end is Lukey Five Sauce, aka L Ring. What's up, man?
Hey,
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Tell me about what you had to do with your dog yesterday.
Oh my God. Well, I knew that was going to come up as soon as I told you.
Right.
Well, he's got some long hair around the butt, so he pooped, and I guess I didn't know he pooped. Yeah, he went outside, and he got something dried back there. So I had to put him in the shower, and really, I put on some gloves and gave him a good wash.
But what's funny is it's not like it's your dog, but it's really your girl's dog.
Yeah.
And she was at work, so you had to clean him up.
Yeah, you can't let your dog go around with a dried dingleberry back there.
No, you can't. It's really weird though. Like every dog that you've ever had, you know, first weird things happen to him. But I remember I accidentally peed on your dog's head one time.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I don't even know how that happened.
Well, I could tell you, I was in the backyard, and I was going pee, and he ran between my legs.
Yeah, that was bad. But you were peeing in my backyard, so that's a little odd.
I mean, I don't know if it's odd, but it happens. The funniest part was when I came back out and like I could see, because I told you, I was like, dude, I just peed on your dog's head, and you're like, oh man, and then I was like looking out the window and I could see you had like a bucket with soap and you were scrubbing your old, did Josh pee on your head? I was like, good Lord.
I wasn't gonna let it marinate on top of his head like that.
Yeah, that's a good call. Dude, listen to this article. It's hilarious.
Uh-huh.
A Florida man was arrested Friday driving a stolen pickup truck to a Space Force base in Brevard County and what he called a mission from the President of the United States, the report says. According to WESH 2 News, 29-year-old Corey Johnson of Ocala stole a Ford F-150 from the Riviera Beach from Riviera Beach, Florida, 3 days before he drove to Patrick Space Force Base. When Johnson tried to get on the base, he claimed that the president told him in his mind that he needed to take the vehicle and warn government officials that there were U.S. aliens fighting Chinese dragons, WRBW reports, and Johnson was arrested and booked into Brevard County Jail. He was charged with grand theft of a motor vehicle, and his bond was at $3,000. Patrick Space Force Base, not really. It seems like Grand Theft Auto, and then driving to a restricted base, and then
yeah, I thought he was going to get in more trouble, but it seems like they just care about the car. I guess he didn't do anything at the base.
What's really weird is he didn't do anything at the base. He told him that Chinese dragons and aliens were fighting.
Did anyone look into it?
I'm not sure. Probably. I mean, I would have. And to be fair, if this guy really thought that, I mean, he's doing the country a service.
Yeah, he's not like, well, did he have to steal a car? Maybe.
How else was he going to get there? I don't know. If you don't have a car and you're going to drive somewhere, you think that this guy is going to be able to rent a car? No.
I don't know.
When you're a special agent of the FBI and you work for the government,
how do you find where these Space Force bases are anyway? Can you just Google that information?
Yes. Matter of fact,
smart.
Matter of fact, right on the website here, it says Patrick Space Force Base is home to Cape Canaveral Space Force Station and Space Launch Delta, which is described as the premier launch delta of the United States Space Force. The site is located approximately 18 miles away from the Kennedy Space Center.
Am I the only one that thinks that that's probably not great information that should be shared?
You're going to attract some weirdos.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of when they were going to storm Area 51.
That was kind of tight.
Yeah, but nobody ever did they?
No one did it. Well, no.
You know why?
Prison.
No, you weren't going to prison.
He's going to kill. They were going to shoot him.
They literally said if you do it, they were going to have helicopters out there with chopper guns, just mowing people down.
That'd have been interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, they had, and I heard that they had clearance for to do it? Shoot, yeah, because there was supposed to be 200,000 people show up.
Yeah, it's a lot. What are you gonna do? Gonna kill them all?
Well, I may be wrong, and I probably am. I would like to think that there's not 200,000 people that stupid,
willing to try.
Now I'm thinking there's probably a good 18 in the world that would be willing.
No, I think you could probably.
18's a good number. 17.
I think you could. There's way more people than that.
Obviously nobody did it.
Yeah, but I think that's probably based on more of a pain to just get out there.
It seems like
that's
a long way to get shot.
Yeah.
Who wants to go to the middle
in your backyard, and didn't take much effort to get there, then I think it would probably would have happened.
Yeah, if it was everybody's just going to a gas station, it would be much easier.
It was easy, yeah. But
it's
a whole thing, and you have to travel. If it was just
to pack a bag,
perfect situation for everybody, then I think it would have happened.
You possibly stay overnight if you don't get killed the first day.
Right.
And that's a pain too, because you're an adult, and but I'd imagine that anybody that's willing to do that doesn't mind sleeping outside or has had a bout of homelessness in their life.
Yeah, that's not it's just the effort thing. It's you're going to put in a lot of effort.
I think that's you. I think that's you. I think that's your problem with it. I don't think that's their problem.
I wouldn't go because it's far.
What about getting shot at?
I don't even get there because I'm in my brain, it's like, where's that at? I don't know. That's too much work already. So then, like, I don't weigh those options. Even.
Yeah. Have you ever like had a plate sitting in front of you and you're like ready to fall asleep and you're like, I shouldn't fall asleep because the dog's right there and he's probably going to get into the stuff, but it's just too much effort
to get up and move
your plate.
Yeah.
And then the dog gets into it and then, it has diarrhea or whatever.
I don't know about that, but
maybe
I'm pretty notorious for like leaving things out or like opening things and leaving it open, or like I know like I'll leave a light on like in a room and I'm like, that's like a whole journey to get up and turn it off. I don't,
Well, that's funny you say that because I distinctly remember probably less than 2 years ago when you had just came back from Alaska and you were staying with your parents. And I don't know if we were watching the Super Bowl or something, and I don't even know if you were in the room when it happened, but there was like a bowl of macaroni and cheese sitting out. And your little brother, who is much younger than you, like we're talking like 8 or 9 or 10, I think 9 or 10, I'm not sure. Very, very young compared to you. You're a full grown man, sort of. And your mother says, Sean, I told you to put your bowl of macaroni and cheese away. And he looks at her and he goes, I put mine away. It's Lucas's. It's just like, man.
Yeah.
That's weird.
We all have that problem. It just runs in the family.
It's a lot of weird stuff happens at your house, like when it comes, especially with animals. Because I know that like your family dog just passed away, and she was a female that rode stuff. Like, specifically your little brother, and but that's not even the first time that you've had a female dog who does that.
Who humps?
Yeah, Shaka did it as well when we were younger.
Yeah, but is that not normal?
I don't know if it's normal or not. I've never seen it. I mean, I think it happens.
Have you ever had a female dog though? I feel like you haven't.
Yeah, I had Maggie.
Oh, she didn't hump?
No, she was a lady.
She was a lady.
She was very.
Why did I forget about Maggie?
I don't know, dude. It kind of makes me upset a little because I was absolutely devastated when she passed away.
Yeah, I know. She's a great dog.
And I mean, I was.
Didn't hump.
That's not what made her a great dog, but it added to her overall mystique for sure.
Yeah.
And Otis doesn't either. He's fixed now.
Not yet.
No. He started to. And then.
Did you give him spankies?
What's that?
Did you give him some spankies?
No, I didn't spanky. To give him some spanky. No, I didn't give him some spanky. What I did was he got fixed.
Oh. Does that stop them from humping? Because I feel like there's some dogs that hump without.
Well, that's where they get their testosterone from, and that's what makes them, But that's what I don't understand about your dogs.
I don't know. I guess, yeah.
And and it's weird because you didn't just have the one.
Yeah, it was 2.
If you've had one dog, like one female dog that had that problem, I could understand it was a one-off. But I'm starting to think it's a training issue.
No one's training to hump.
Well, then where do they learn it? That can't be instinctual for a dog.
I think it is. I think we just have some alpha female dogs.
Yeah. Some alpha female dogs. Yeah.
Yeah. They're just ready to go.
I could see that actually.
Yeah.
I could actually see that happening. That's a good alpha female dogs.
Yeah. There's a little wolf in them.
They're part Siberian Husky.
Maybe.
I'm not sure if that matters at all, but
I've never looked into it, and I just assumed that dogs hump. But
Well, yeah, the ones that are supposed to do.
Right.
Not the ones that aren't supposed to. And I mean, there's a reason for that. I know that it does happen, but it's just not. It's not the norm.
Not two in one house.
Two in one house, and I think
we're talking like a decade later too.
I know, like the training tactics were just not good. Look at this girl.
Look at this girl.
I'll never forget that. That the saddest part was I think he actually thought she was hugging him. And that's not what was happening.
When you're young, it can get confusing.
Yeah, I can see that. But let's not get into your issues as a child. I feel like they're on the verge of bursting like the New Orleans levees. They just
I had no issues as a child.
It's not too soon to make that joke, is it?
About what?
Hurricane Katrina.
Oh, no way.
Good. I didn't want to offend anybody because like that was a terrible thing.
Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah, like you can make jokes about like the levees, right?
I think you can joke however you want about it.
Because I think that the Hindenburg you can joke about.
Yeah, well, maybe not.
It's not funny, but like.
Well, I think you could. I don't think anything is off limits as long as you're actually joking.
Right. I guess, but then like some like really insensitive person who's not. So you know what it actually reminds me of? It reminds me of Seinfeld when the dentist. I can't remember his name. It was like it doesn't matter. But anyway, Seinfeld's dentist in the show converted to Judaism and started making all kinds of like jokes about the Jewish religion because Seinfeld was Jewish and a comedian, and he would do that too. And Seinfeld basically accused him of converting to Judaism strictly for the jokes.
Yeah, just for the jokes.
Yeah. And then he was like telling a Catholic priest that.
Yeah.
Like confessing to him, and he's like, he's like, and this offends you as a Jewish man? He's like, no, it offends me as a comedian.
Right.
So I
found a loophole.
Right, but I don't know if like that well, it's a loophole.
It counts.
I mean, what are you gonna do? Go confess.
I don't know. You can joke.
Go confess to your priest about it.
Anyone could joke about anything, I think.
You can, and it's just if it's perceived funny or not. Now,
right, yeah.
if it doesn't go over well, the people that decide are the people who are watching or listening or whatever.
Or hear it, yeah.
And if they decide to never, like when Michael Richards went on his like epic psychotic.
Yeah, that wasn't.
Right, but his career was over.
Yeah.
Because people were like, this guy's kind of unhinged. That was just
it was funny for different reasons. It wasn't funny. The things he was saying wasn't funny. It was funny because
watching somebody melt down like that is always funny.
Fun.
But it was like you're just going, come on, guy. Like what? You could tell that he wasn't trying to be funny. He was mad. And
he was mad, and he wasn't quick enough to come up with anything else. So
he went straight for that, which is never good.
Right.
Never. It's just not healthy because I don't know if society.
There's a way to tell a joke, and that's not the way to do it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't a joke. What he was saying. I don't even think he was attempting. He didn't even attempt to form it into a joke.
Think it was attempt. I think he was just mad.
He really was very, very upset. Dude, did you see? You remember the Nicholas Cruz kid, the shooter for?
Yeah.
So they were
in Florida, right?
Yeah, they're getting ready to sentence him, right?
Oh, well, finally.
I know. It only took a couple days. They're getting ready to sentence him, and this guy in court, I don't know if it was today or not, was when they were playing the sounds from like inside the school of him, committing mass murder. put his head down and plugged his ears. You
don't want to hear it.
Can you believe that?
Well, I mean, not really, because it seems like someone who did something like that would want, like, is like, you know, I don't know.
I just don't like he has the motivation to go through with the horrible crime that he commits, but he can't listen to the audio of it while he's getting ready to be sentenced for like 17 murders. I find it like, it's like when James Holmes asked, like, "Oh, did I kill any little kids?" I'm like, "Yeah, you actually did, dude." And he was like, act upset about it. Why didn't you think about that before you did it?
I don't know. Because I always think that, like, people do that. They wouldn't mind hearing it. It would probably, like, get them off some way, you know, like.
Well, like serial killers, like they like to show you how they did it or how they like grabbed the person or whatever. They like to relive it, but I mean, I don't know.
And I guess I always assume that, like, that's why people do things on, like, the mass level too, because they want the exposure, they want the media coverage, they want, like, you know what I mean? They sort of like some sick thing to them. So that's interesting. I don't know if he's trying to win some sympathy or something, but it's like you're gonna. Does Florida still have the death penalty? I think so. So I think
Florida, Florida definitely has the death penalty.
Yeah, you're dead. No
how is that not
really.
How is that not an open and shut death penalty?
Yeah.
I guess you have the right to a trial, but can you imagine trying to defend Nicholas Cruz?
Someone's going to.
I mean, he has that he has that right.
Yeah, even if he doesn't want it, he'll get it.
Well, you can definitely. He could have just represented himself.
Yeah, well, I don't think you can unless they think that you're, like, competent enough, right? Like, I think you can do whatever you want. Really?
Yeah, and you can even take the stand against your lawyer's advice. You can do whatever you want. It's your trial. I don't think they should protect you from that kind of stuff. I think they advise you.
Yeah. Well, I don't think there's anything you could do to help this kid out anymore. Like, you know, he's done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, good for him. It couldn't happen to a better person.
Right.
But he'll sit on death row for 25 years. Appeal.
Really? You think so? I think I would have to check. I don't know if they have. I assume Florida has.
I know they have the death penalty.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I think they'll put him. I don't think he won't sit long. I think he'll die.
I mean, he has a certain amount of appeals, and he can do as many as he wants.
Yeah. Well, what's he pleading right now?
I don't know. Like, dumb.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what's he gonna? He's gonna appeal. I guess you could appeal, like, the death penalty charge, but it's like, if you say that you're guilty, right?
Yeah, I mean, so right here it says Nicholas Cruz sentencing trial live update day 8. Social media post promise shooting at school. Okay, well, there's your first.
Wonderful. Glad we caught that one.
The trail begins.
Right.
Today marks the 8th day of the sentencing trial of Nicholas Cruz, who pled guilty in 2021.
Yeah, he just pled guilty. They're just gonna. I don't think there's anything to appeal.
So I think they're just sentencing him, but like if they kill him or not. So he pleaded guilty in 2021 to killing 17 people and wounding 17 others. That's crazy. Yeah, that's so many. For more than a week, jurors have heard testimony from teachers who survived.
Why do we even have to do that? I don't understand.
I don't know. I don't know. The 12-person jury will recommend whether Cruz. This is the part I do not understand. Yeah. The 12-person jury will recommend whether Cruz, then 19, now 23, is put to death or sentenced to life without parole. But see, this is only a recommendation. The judge ultimately decides it. So why do we need a jury? Because he can overturn it if he wants.
Yeah. I think that it just weighs more. I think it's something that the judge has to take into into consideration because you're being judged by your peers. So
sometimes I do wonder though, like it says right here, it says a day before
how much it matters.
Huh?
You think it doesn't matter? Like whether
well, all they're doing is recommending. You don't think the judge could like figure that out on his own?
Yeah, I know. I think it just seems, yeah. But
because there's no actual, he's pled guilty. So just decide.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Why do we have to have testimony? Or I guess it's just like.
Oh, impact statements are important to put on the record. I get that. And there are people that do want to be able to confront him, which is fair.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But listen to this. This is this kind of stuff that is just so mind-boggling to me. A day before the shootings, crews searched online for a quote, how long does it take a cop to show up at a school shooting? Like, oh, wow.
Unreal, Google.
Yeah. Okay, shouldn't that shoot right to the FBI? Pew. Nobody should be Googling that.
Well, I think it would be interesting.
Lucas.
I think it would be interesting to know.
No, it wouldn't.
Okay, that would be it. Yeah, it would, because isn't that what they're talking about? Isn't that a big topic right now about like
the Uvalde shooting? Yes.
Yeah, how long it took them to respond. So I mean, I guess that
you don't think that should show up like a little red light somewhere, somewhere in the universe?
Okay, yeah.
And they go, oh, hey, somebody, okay, this is the 5th time this week that somebody's done this. Let's take a look at this kid. And then they go, oh, let's look at his social media. What does it say on his social media? I'm going to be a professional school shooter.
Right. I think all those things together, yeah.
And then,
I mean, well, wasn't it known? Wasn't he known? He was known by the FBI. This wasn't like some kid that just showed up out of nowhere. They had been keeping tabs on him.
Kind of, yeah, but nothing super proactive.
Unfortunately, it's sort of the case with all of these. They're not completely unknown to like the FBI.
Right. Well, then one of them, it says right here, it says 4 days later after he wrote about being the school shooter, or what is it, that he's going to be a professional school shooter. It says
a professional.
Yeah. You don't get to be a professional doing something just once. Yeah. Idiot. He says 4 days later, he wrote, quote, my life sucks. I failed high school. That's the thing. Had he really failed high school already? He was only 17. That's impressive. My life sucks. I failed high school.
That's when you graduate, right?
About that, 17, 18. And then it says, I'm going on a killing rampage. And then it said every single post and search covering 20 pages was read aloud by a jury.
Unreal.
By a jury. Quote,
when people say things like that, I think, I'm sure those posts were reported. Like, people saw them. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, it says like right here.
It's sad. It seems like there could have been a lot more done.
Yeah, you would think so. It's like the Uvalde situation.
He wasn't like.
Let's hang outside.
He's making public statements, and
Yeah, that Uvalde situation, man, and then you like, they're like, oh, we didn't have the equipment we needed. It was like, well, what do the little kids have?
What do they have? Nothing. Yeah,
Why don't you? And then they wouldn't even let the parents go.
And then they like fired the principal because they were saying that he knew of like safety concerns and stuff like that. And it's like,
well, everybody knows about that,
right? I don't know, man.
But listen to this. So it says, quote, I already see my future nothing but loneliness. I wish to keep something in the history books like Eric and Dylan, and that's in a reference to Columbine.
Yeah.
Eric and Dylan. Those guys left an impression that I don't think anybody will ever quite understand.
No, well, they were the
first big known,
the trendsetters. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it
And
says,
that's why I said it's surprising when you tell me that he like puts his head down and like.
yeah, it's just a
You think
He's just a-
Eric and Dylan would do something maybe like that because they're complete cowards, but
like they put their heads down by blowing their heads off.
Yeah.
Causing. Okay, so look at here. I wish to keep something in the history books like Eric and Dylan. For that, you will hear me on the 2020. You will hear me on the news 2020. On July 4th, Cruz wrote, I love to see the families suffer. What a sicko. Causing family members. It's just, but yeah, then he puts his head down. Oh, I don't want to hear this. Yeah, he is. It's so
bizarre.
weird.
It's an interesting thing. It's like, I don't know what's he trying to convey that he's like changed or something, you know?
Did you ever hear about when he assaulted the corrections officer?
No.
Yeah, he literally attacked a corrections officer.
Unbelievable.
In jail. And I mean, it was like all on video. Like you can even watch it. It's ridiculous. I mean, the guy's an absolute nut.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be one of those cases where they drag their feet to put him to death. I think he'll go.
You think so?
Make a statement. Just because,
like Old Yeller, they just take him out back.
I hope. I think, they want to make a statement about these things, and I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know if it would be good or bad, actually, because there's just a lot of attention. Who knows?
I mean, I guess it is just one of those things, but the fact that he sits there with his head down, and you're just going, "Come on, man!" Like
that's really annoying. Yeah, it's weird, bizarre. I don't know what it. I don't know. I totally forgot about that case, or I haven't been paying attention, so it's quite interesting. 2 years it took.
Well, no, this was 2017.
2017.
That's when the shooting happened. So we're 5 years.
5 years in.
What is he, 23 now? That's like
22, 23.
Right.
Life's over, dude.
Well, that's why he said he did it, because he didn't want loneliness.
He thought his life was over at 17. Oh my God, he failed high school. Like he's the first one. You know
how many classes I failed?
Yeah, get over it.
Yeah, seriously. I see all kinds of homeless people. They're not really killing people. They all failed. Most of them failed high school too.